Welcome everyone to this presentation. So this is about MyConfigura, our web platform. So I'm just gonna talk about what it is and what's there and some tools that you can use for it. So I think a lot of people don't really know like what MyConfigura is all about and what's really there. So this will not be coding intense or anything like that. It will be just a run through of what we're doing with the web. So I'll just start off by introducing myself. My name is Victor, and I'm from Sweden, but I recently moved to KL. I'm living there, working with the web team. Started as we expanded our web team there last year, and I went there to help them and liked the place, and then I got stuck, I guess. So I've been working with MyConfigura for 6 years, and really since the beginning of it, it wasn't released even when I started with it. So I've had fingers in a lot of the things that are available there. But in the last years, I've been in charge of the front-end framework mostly. And but also right now I'm in a sort of transitional role. I'm gonna take a step back and go into more of like database optimization, and we plan to do more optimization work in general and rework some things, because we've been mostly just adding stuff all the time. Now we can find out resources to take a step back and rework some things, and with feedback from developers and users. And I'm a big music enthusiast, something personal. If you were here yesterday on the party, I guess you saw it. I hope you enjoyed it. Okay, so MyConfigura, it started in 2010 with the briefcases. It was just a summer project, and the idea was we wanted to get into the cloud. It was, I guess, when everybody started talking about the cloud. So we had to be there, of course. So we want to create a place for our users where they could collaborate, share files, and also use as internal communication tools. And it started to pop up some ideas how to connect the software with the web. And so one of the other things we started with was user-based licenses. So these were the main things in the MyConfigura's first release, which came in 2012. At that point, we were 3 developers, and we stayed 3 developers until last year, actually. So it's been doing a lot of work. So it was a big step going into user-based licenses. Now it's some years ago, it seems. But it just gives a lot of opportunities when you connect the software with the web. And I mean, we're still today exploring all the opportunities. There's so much you can do, and just so much time. So what MyConfigura is now is a very big platform, a lot more than you will see, because everyone just sees their little portion of the site. So it includes all kinds of tools that we use internally and externally: invoice management, license management, sell and purchase licenses, connections to the build center and operator, catalogs, and you see we have a new configura.com webpage, which was a big project. We have integrated that into the same platform. We're using Perl as a coding language, which is not the most common thing, I guess, but it's kind of a fun language. Now that we have configura.com and MyConfigura on the same platform, we can also connect more information and just have a more solid and unified solution for this. And there's a lot of tools for information and statistics and all of this stuff. And as I said, we've been expanding heavily this last year and a half. Up until that time, we were 3 developers based in Sweden, and now we are 4 developers in Sweden and 3 in Malaysia. So we were very happy to get some more workforce. We have a lot more things we can do. And so this is probably the most interesting part of the web for the developers. It's the developer center, so it speaks pretty clearly. So this is where we gather the tools for developers, communication, information, and some tools to pass the data between CET and the web. So just go through our communication and resources tools, which I hope you use a lot. So the wiki is where you find all the information on CM and programming in CET, and yeah, 3D programming, the CET extension system, and other information. And you can also access the developer briefcase, where we give out information about things going on in CET design, as you can find feature-free states and things like that. We also want to point out with briefcases, there are some other briefcases for developers. I think you're part of, like Developer Corner and Tips and Tricks. And you can also set up a briefcase for your own extension. If you have supervisor access, you can do this. So you can create a briefcase that everyone with a license of your extension becomes a member of. So it's a good place where you can communicate directly to your users. And then we have the forum, which is the latest addition to these tools. This is something I really want you to use a lot, because this helps the whole community. If we can help each other, solving the problems, then we can save a lot of time, and don't have to spend time debugging and scratching our heads. We can just share the knowledge. So yeah, our forum is basically a Stack Overflow for CM, and everyone loves Stack Overflow, right?
Oh yeah.
And we have some recent additions to the forum. They will be released, I think, within the next week. It's very close to release. So this is just like the briefcases. You can create the extension-specific briefcases. You will be able to create your own forums. So until now, we've only had the developer forum, which is, of course, for developers, and it's just about CET designer programming and development. But now you can set up your own development forum for your extension, if you want to discuss issues there and problems. So you can gather more information, and there will also be a support forum for the users. So the support forums will be available for anyone who has a license of your extension, and the developer forums for anyone who has developer permissions for your extension. So yeah, I really want you to hope you start using this, and I think it can help everyone a lot. Yeah, this is just a little tool we added pretty recently, so I just wanted to tell you it's there. It's license profiles. I know if you switch a lot between your what extensions you're running and which are enabled and disabled and installed, you can now create your own profiles. So you save the settings for the different extensions. Just saving clicks. Just a small little feature. Yes?
Do you have a link to those profiles in extension details, so we can actually go and flip it directly in CET? Also, if you have multiple instances, like an 8.0 and an 8.5?
No, don't. But it's a good idea. Yeah, so right now it's only here on the web. Maybe we can do something about that. Okay. So now I'm going to talk a little about channels. You can set this up in MyConfigura, but in the end it's you as developers that decide what you do with these channels, since the action is happening in your extension. So it's used for controlling access within your extension. You can unlock features and have special settings. And this is based on, you can put it on users or domains. So yeah, there are 3 different kinds of channels. There are extension channels, catalog channels, and custom channels. So extension channels and catalog channels, they're pretty self-explanatory. They give access to an extension or a catalog. It's tied to your extension. And then we have the custom channels, which are a bit more diverse. So this is, it's a very simple tool. As it is, it's just a key and a value that you put on a user. So when that user logs into CT, you will get this key and value. And then you set up in your extension what you want to do with it. So that could be basically anything. But yeah, changing price lists, product lines, geographical customizations. I think those are the most common. But yeah, it's open to whatever you want really. You set this up under the extensions tab. And you can add your users and your domains, or you can choose to give the channels to everyone who has your license. And there's also the supervisor tool that manages a lot of this access. Yes?
Are many customers using it? Does it use a lot?
Yeah, it's like some use a lot of channels and some not at all. It's
Best invention ever.
sorry?
Best invention ever.
We like it.
Yeah, we use paywith uses multiple different channels, so trying to bring some knowledge to the same. Kind of like it's like almost like a state, an extra way to stage like a beta type functionality and whatnot for testing, so that way it's a little easier to have the testing without having to like necessarily rebuild, right? So that way it's there and accessible by a small subset of people, but
Really easy, it's easiest to
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And we use it a lot for our product cycle as well, because when you have your standard build cycle, the project schedule and the build schedule never end up as planned, ever. And so we were always in this last minute panic of having to strip stuff out before the release, which inevitably just created more bugs. But by just sticking it in the channel, now when it's not going to be ready for launch, you just turn off the channel and let it go. So then you don't have to strip it out, because it's hidden from the user. So we have a product that's going out next year, and it's been in their public release for the last 4 months now, and we just opened it up to over 50 users to start using, so that they can test everything and give us those inevitable bugs that they find that we didn't find no matter how much testing we did the first day. So that now it's just 50 users rather than 250.
Yeah. Nice.
But my question on this one though is, have you considered creating like the ability to have subcategories? Because when you add your specific users, it's by email address and it only goes in a specific order. So if you have like groups of people, or if you're trying to find them together.
This is actually available in the supervisor tool. So there you have different filters you can set up.
Our supervisor, unfortunately, is someone who doesn't touch any of the program. Can they give that power to anybody below?
Yes, and you get all supervisor powers, and then you get every email you can
This is something like going through all this. I've noticed like permissions are not like well handled on the supervisor and developer. It's something we need to rework. We're gonna redo the whole supervisor pretty shortly, within I think next year.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I said is with adding and removing the from my extension. I don't want the supervisor role because I don't want the extra emails and all the back that comes with it, but I want to be able to add and remove developers from my extension and get people that got like a year ago into supervisor. Now I could send an email chain and get somebody else to do it for me.
Yeah, exactly. This is something we will rework and think more about permission levels, things like that. I think when we did the supervisor, it was based on how it was handled when we did it, like when we had machine-based licenses, and Yeah, I think it was one of these situations no one really knew what anyone wanted, so we made something, and then we had to. Then we're stuck with it for a while. That happens sometimes, but say now we have some resources to go and redo these things. Yes.
On the same theme, there are few things. For example, giving catalog permissions. I think that is through channels or something.
Yeah, you have catalog channels.
But that is in only supervisor access. But sometimes some developers or some other people who don't need the whole supervisor access, but the problem is happening like extension is not opening because of catalog access or so and so. We do need that isolated access. So when you are restructuring, at least some limited access to those channel area. I mean, licensing should not be visible, but some partial access area should be provided.
Yeah, I think we just need to like put up for every like functionality within the extension, the edit extension and the supervisor. We need to like have a lot of detailed permissions, because now they're all too general, and if you haven't noticed, there are some issues with people. Yes.
What's the supposed to be the kind of turnaround time between adding a user's email to a channel and them actually seeing an update in CET, like for that channel to actually? Is it in the past we've had times where it sometimes seems to delay for a while?
If you're just restricting a tool, so like we have two new tool icons that we have restricted in a channel, I can just open a new drawing and it recognizes it because I tested and trained them on and off all the time. If we're restricting an extension, so like an entire block, then I have to do a clean restart. But if I do a clean restart, then it recognizes it and
See, I've experienced the opposite. I've had times where I'll be adding and remove myself from it. I think it's then a developer, it'll take me forever, much longer than just going in and forcibly setting it to true or false, and I'll just change it myself until I revert that file.
I
think it's hit or miss.
I think sometime back it was like that, and I even heard back from Configura like that server rereads the information at a particular interval, but now it might have been evolved and more dynamic.
Yeah, there's been some caching going on. We've had some issues with, but most of that has been solved.
Now, quick question also. The ability to delete a channel, is that for administrators only? Because I'm looking through ours right now and I don't see the ability to delete.
Yeah, I think that's only for the administrator.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can create but not delete. Okay.
the other really neat thing about the channels too that we use it for is because it's in the public release, the code is still there. So you've restricted the ability for the specifiers, whoever's using your products, to spec it, but they can still open those files. It's not going to crash on their own. They can still see them, they can still print all their reports, they can still create all their entry files. They just can't actually use whatever's hidden.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you can do with it. It's good exchanging.
Yeah, I just have a question. Do you want to develop a refresh of the channel data?
I mean, it's gotta be useful. I mean, if you fix
Because
it,
that would be my
yeah.
Because we actually ask for it's sent to the profile info, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it does a background task that downloads this, except for the first time.
Okay.
So I don't know in my head now if it's forced by check for updates, but we could add something to the forest update if you just ask me out.
Yeah.
So you don't have to do stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's just a call to the web service.
Yeah.
But it's like variable tasks. Like it's everything is
Oh,
aggregated.
that might be
Except for the first time because then we need to challenge data corresponds going up. So
Yeah, we
I
had,
have contact with the idea of forcing it down.
yeah, we had something like to help when you
Force the task to run. Okay. Sorry.
Okay, no, that's great. That's I think this was the point of it, just to see what people are doing with this. So, I mean, we on the web, we don't really know because we just serve the data. It's you as developers, you know, make something happen with it. So it's a great exchange. Yeah, that was actually everything I had. It's just short little run through some tools. Yes.
So I have a question about UI. So you recently moved the bar on the MyConfigura to the top again from the side.
Yeah.
I hate it.
You hate it?
So I use a monitor where it sideways, and when I get small enough, it decides those need to be 3 dots now, and I have to go through a bunch of button clicks to get to my dev center.
I
Is there
am.
any way that when the window shrinks too small where we get 3 dots, to instead move it back to the side? That would be awesome. It would save a lot of button clicks when you're navigating around. Because you know, I always keep most of my working tabs on that longer monitor, so it's always too small to have all the options.
Yeah, I actually missed that menu also. It was kind of good. But yeah, it has to do with the new webpage, MyConfigura.com, and the plan is we're gonna, as I said, we built the whole new system ourselves, and we've been implementing it on the same platform, but we had we could make it from scratch, so we can, you know, use so much new tools and set up things. So the plan is to move all the MyConfigura over to all this new and nice code and UI, but that's I mean, that's going to take a long time. It's a very big thing. But yeah, I'll talk with them, with the front-end team, designers, about maybe making some changes like that.
Or we can choose, you know, like sometimes.
Yeah, maybe you can switch it to the side or something. I'll see what they say.
Thank you.
So anything else on the web, basically? Yes.
Yeah, we're almost out of time.
Okay, then I'm gonna stop it right there. Thank you very much. Hope you had a great time at home.